Hello and welcome people back to Let's Play Shining Wisdom. We are sure
Also,
nothing has happened, and this is the king.
King Santa Claus.
Yes, King Santa Claus, before he got too old and retired.
Before the fire went out of his beard.
Mm-hmm.
I would also completely take back the Kirby thing. It was just that one song that sounded like Kirby. The rest
It
of
is,
it...
yeah, it's like, that one is particularly catchy.
Yeah. And these ones are good. It's just they don't sound like Kirby songs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say Kirby songs, I really mean the Superstar era. Like, stuff that's come since then sounds kind of like it, but
Yeah.
that's... Anyway.
But yeah. So sometimes you can actually hear the interrupting with the bits of the song,
Right.
like taking up pieces of it at the same time, which I actually always kind of enjoyed that, despite that being a technical limitation.
Right. So what
I
you're
just
saying is
found it really cute when it
you would
happened.
love to listen to a chiptune versions of all sorts of classic songs with little overlapping it.
I also like this technique has been later used to greater effect in on like the GameCube and the PS2. Because games like, for example, Wind Waker or, say, Okage Shadow King had their entire songs made up of samples, which were played at different intervals, and that actually allowed for like seamless changing to a different track.
And it was so good for overlapping with the strike sounds in Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm. And it like made it also made for a very good looping, because one thing that I really dislike about this generation of games when it comes to music is whenever they use the CD-based audio. While it sounded nice, PlayStation 1 has just the worst CD player, and it just gets stuck a lot of the times.
PlayStation 1 is the worst, Nico. 2018.
20, yes.
No, I was gonna say.
And here we have the inciting incident night, and the text formatting in this can sometimes be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I should mention when we're at the text, this is actually there are actually two translations of this game. What we're seeing right now is the European translation, and then there is also the American translation. They're actually very different from each other, because when this game was released in America, it was handled by Working Designs, and Working Designs is a company that's most known for over-improving games upon releasing them to the West. While all of the times the improvements they did make were good, in case of Shining Wisdom, they changed the dialogues a little bit too much, and that pissed off Sega a lot, because a lot of the continuity things from other Shining games just didn't work anymore. And here we check out on the princess.
Why are we creeping on the princess?
Because we have nothing better to do, and when we're not around, the inciting incident gets to happen.
Okay. So we gotta
And
go
now
in
everyone's dead.
And okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure what happened was you killed them, and you just don't remember. It's Frogman.
Mm-hmm.
This is Thumbelina. This is a game version of Thumbelina. That Frogman's gonna steal your girl.
Yeah, and now, because of that mist, which happened the other day as well, everybody's asleep.
And are we supposed to be asleep or just incapacitated?
We're supposed to be horizontal. but now we don't have the awakened stone from that we stole from that from that chest. But thanks to our he's very nice. Like he's gonna let us live. That's not gonna bite him in the ass later, right?
Oh, so they know each other.
I think
They're good friends.
She's still sleeping, actually.
I mean, that's what he says, but maybe that's just like, you know, a joke that they have between them.
It's a code. They don't want to know. They don't want to know about their forbidden love.
Yeah, like clearly, like her dad would never, you know, he's like not one of them greenskins. You know, he's a racist dad, so he they had to, since she has to pretend that she's under a spell because that way she won't get in trouble, and she can just leave.
But yeah, it's a good thing if you. I assume that the whole point of the first visit at the castle was just so you familiarize yourself with the layout.
So that you can do this while everyone's unconscious.
Yes, and here I wasted a little bit of time because I kind of misremembered how the stairs work.
Indeed, you did.
If they go to the if they go to the left, they're going downwards. If they go to the right, they're going upwards. But yeah, most of the doors are blocked by people just fallen over, asleep. So we have to find a way around them. Thankfully, there is an easy way, but it is very easy to miss it because it's underneath here.
Know that you could walk under there, yeah.
Yeah, the only way you would know is because they actually make it sort of obvious.
They put a guy half asleep under it, yeah, or
exactly. Because I guess they realize the shadows don't make it too obvious, so they added that guy sleeping underneath.
Well, this game isn't true 3D, you know.
It really is not. It's not even trying to be, but and it's there are some 2D games that did layering, different layers and what have you, a little bit better than this one. It's not the worst case, and probably once we actually get to some of the platforming that this game has, it's some of the best handled platforming in a Link to the Past clone that I've seen.
Like you can charge and jump over gaps or something?
Oh, yeah. And more. Way more. But yeah, good to remember this place over here. Like in every game of this sort, you will get a lot of power-ups, a lot of new items, and it's good to go back to certain locations once you get them. And they make most of the most important pickups sort of obvious. Like for example, you see sand. That means you can go. You're gonna be able to go back there in the future when you get something that has to do with the sand.
Okay, I have a question regarding that. How many item tools do you get? You get a lot, or just a few?
For the story objectives, you get quite a few. For not really important, a lot more. But there are also, each item also kind of has several different functions. But we're gonna get to that when we get to that.
I guess my point was, could you make a randomizer with this game like they do for Link to the Past?
No. I don't think so, because it's a lot of things are very sequential.
So you couldn't get a later item and use that to sequence break and.
Actually, no. There is one item that you could get in order to get past a lot of the things. But like that item, normally in the game you get incredibly late, but it's very rewarding to get it for what little you have of the game left. Because it practically lets you say, "Oh yeah, fuck it," to most of the puzzles.
Okay, so it wouldn't really work well for a randomizer in general.
No, not really. There are some items that do sort of double as improved versions, and there are also a lot of free solutions, so to say. There is freedom to solution, but I don't think this would be a great game for a randomizer playthrough.
What you're saying is there's a skip button that I'll accidentally press.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can enable, disable it. It's not on a timer. You want to go off to the sides in each and every one of these dungeons, because they usually hide some goodies around the corners. A lot of the times it's just going to be like a healing herb. They make like, why just a singular one? I wish they just put like 5 of them or something like that.
Or yeah.
Because you can also find them as drops. They're not that incredibly, amazing.
Oh, I thought that was
enemies can actually get damaged by hazards, as you saw with that bat getting killed with the mouse.
Getting eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, are these mouths like specific to this? Oh, and he can't get hurt by that though. The mummy was running.
He's just actually walking in a place where he won't get hit by it, but a lot of times he would. Anyway.
It looked like he was running towards you, but was hitting an invisible wall.
Yeah, that happens. This is one of the few, most of the times you just want to avoid fighting enemies, like I said before, unless they would interrupt you with doing a puzzle. Although you could just push this halfway through and push it through to the end. This is in case you fall down in that other location.
Gotcha. So these moving floors, they just give you a slight bit of velocity in that direction.
Yes, in the direction that they're going, you can actually.
Because it hasn't really seemed to slow you down much.
No, it just it makes your movement slightly unpredictable.
Okay.
So like this location is a little bit of a doozy with that. It's hard to not get damaged.
Oh, the ghost doesn't take damage from it though.
No. But I know for certain that the mummy can get damaged by them, but it actually has to not be charging and just walk into it.
I like that they just run at you with their arms swinging wildly, like someone who couldn't see very well would.
Mm-hmm. And he respawned already over there.
Yep.
Even without dying. And here we have stone shoes. Stone shoes have.
Sink to the bottom of Lake Hylia.
No, and actually there isn't a water dungeon in this, not in that sense. Stone shoes have 2 uses. They can press buttons and destroy floors, and they can also let you run faster, weirdly enough.
Oh.
Yeah, if you stand still, they will let you destroy crumbled floors, but right there there is no point of doing that because it will just send you to that room over there.
Gotcha.
And here I kind of wasted time because I forgot that there wasn't really anything here.
How dare you? How dare you waste my precious time, Nico?
Yeah, because
now
I remember there were
Warrior for another 14 hours.
I remember there were tiles here, but I didn't remember there were cracks in them, you know?
Yeah. It's
I say that.
Hard to remember which very similar looking bit of texture you were looking at.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that there wasn't really... bats are literally the worst enemy type. Like all of the other ones are fairly easy to like kill or avoid, but bats, with the way they circle around you the whole time,
it's very Legend of Zelda.
Yes, they are just like they're just as annoying as the keys.
So, in the other entries into the Shining series, were they similar gameplay-wise?
Completely different. Shining series is actually like very infamous for just how off the wall everything is. They're most known for the Shining Force, which is a series of tactical RPGs. But there are also Diablo clones of the Shining series. There are like action RPGs or action adventure games like this one. But yeah, they're most known for Shining Force.
Because I'm pretty sure, having looked up the release dates for both, that really what happened here was the Shining team was like, Camelot were like, dude, Link to the Past was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Let's do something like that.
That's probably exactly what happened.
It doesn't have that feel like we see a lot of times where some executive. I'm not an anti-business person at all. I don't complain normally about things like this. But there's a lot of times where, like with the battle royale games right now, it's obvious.
Just like make similar to that.
Yeah. Some executive, or just in general, like funding is so much easier to do if you make something similar to something else. So there's like just a lot of push on that. In this case, it seems more like they wanted to make something similar, which is a totally different thing. Making similar things isn't bad. It just has to be motivated.
It's also kind of obvious that this game was like it kind of was on a budget. And by the way, if you see spiders, this is like the only enemy which I would say fight.
Why?
Because spiders yield like absurd amount of money whenever they drop something. Okay. And we're gonna be exploiting that in the future, because there's one place which makes exploiting them for money incredibly easy. And with it, like you can just sort of in one dungeon spending, I want to say like maybe an hour walking back and forth in and out of the room. I know it seems like a lot, but it actually saves you like you're pretty much gonna get funding for the rest of the game.
So,
and it's also fairly early on.
So wait, that fall animation reminded me of something. But I can't think of what. But anyway, that does sound like a lot. I would not like to grind this game's combat for an hour.
It's actually,
especially because I hate going in and out of rooms.
It may have been. It may have been less. It may have been less. Like you don't have to grind for that much. You can actually grind for like maybe 20 minutes to just get by. But I also wanted to. I also wanted to get
episode 21 and 22 and 23 are just gonna be walking back into rooms killing spiders.
No, I cut out all of that. But it is going to. Well, it's not gonna happen in those, but well, soon enough. Basically, I would say you need to do that for 20 minutes in order to get all of the items that you're gonna need at the very least for the rest of the game, and additional 20 minutes if you also want to get an incredibly useful item from a secret store, for which otherwise you would have to grind into oblivion in any other place.
Secret stores are the best stores.
And that secret item is magical pajamas.
I mean, everyone, as far as I can tell, the whole thing about your character is that they just don't fall asleep when other people do. So
he needs a special pajama in order to fall asleep. It is the most useful item because it pretty much is an infinite healing item, except that and here we have Sexy Ganon.
Wait. We do have Sexy Ganon, and also to the left there is totally the inspiration for Bluton from Golden Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, carries
Yes.
the blue from Golden Sun.
Yes, I remember her.
Actually, these are just basically the blue and red from Golden Sun. So we're looking at. No, dude. Well, I wonder what game this reminds me of. Are they gonna take it to the Dark World?
No.
Oh, because the flashing and the Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
But yeah, now we have our first now we have our first boss.
All right, and unlike last time where we were incapacitated, so okay, so not so bad so far.
He will keep throwing those, and they don't disappear until you hit them with a sword or like they hit you. So you can end up with a lot of them falling around, but he dies after 3 hits.
Oh, okay.
It's another big deal.
And then we got really stinky.
Yeah.
What? Why did
we got farted
down?
on and we died.
Is that really what happened? Like,
I don't like there was a cloud of something, and then our character became incapacitated.
Yeah. Okay. So identity theft is not a joke, and this game's making a little light of it. I'm offended. I like that she has a super squeaky.
Super high pitched. I do love that every character has a different pitch to their text scroll.
Quack 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 quack. I'm a duck. Oh, she dead.
No, she a duck, like you said.
Oh my god. I'm psychic.
Exactly. And now they're gone because they're gone.
You're far too interesting to kill now, you know.
They're really inefficient villains. But yeah, here I demonstrate how you use the angel wing. I was just making sure I didn't miss anything in the dungeon.
That's how you do it. You get a seizure.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I told you to watch this in 60 frames. You wouldn't want to miss out on the seizures.
I'm dancing. You can't see
you
it.
Can actually, you can actually also use return when you're outside in the overworld. Not sure if it's gonna work here exactly because this is like a secluded part of it. But if you use it anywhere in the world map, it's going to take you back home. Which may sound terrible, but your home is actually kind of in... I wouldn't say in the center, but it's close enough to most of the places.
Return to Link's house.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. I'm seeing where things are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Although I gotta say, actually, like in terms of like the way enemies are and appear, not necessarily the combat, but just like where they're located, it's also reminding me a lot of Secret of Mana.
Yes, except that it's definitely a lot faster than Secret of Mana.
Yes. Not like I said, not the combat or anything like that. Just like how enemies are acting and where they're located. And...
Mm-hmm. Although this definitely doesn't have the Secret of Mana's enemy limit, as we will see later on.
They were just like, what if we had a room which just had like all the enemies?
No, it's less that. It's more that Secret of Mana had a thing where you could only have like 3 enemies on the screen at once. Which was just like, a limitation of the SNES and also kind of made it less chaotic. In this case, they were like, blast the super ultra blast processing. We don't care. It's also very important to read all of these hints because they help you with a lot of things later on in the game. It's actually like a gigantic FAQ section. Certainly better than what you get on the game packs.
To be honest, I hate needless overlong dialogue, but I actually really like when there's like these little places where you can read little bits.
Yeah.
As long as it's also got some flavor thrown in there, you know.
Yeah, it like actually explains pieces of the world, like about fairies being humorous and things like that. And it's not just this place; it's a lot of places. And here is actually a tip for one of the bosses. Power Glove has many uses.
Power Glove.
Yes.
The Power Glove.
Mm-hmm.
But this is
This is a Segata Sanshiro game, no? But you get a Power Glove. Wow. And Power Gloves have really hilarious animation.
So it does like what's his name? Lucas or whatever come from the wizard and tell you how bad it is?
Our character does not speak or talk about what he does ever, outside of getting that one sleeping amulet.
That makes it easier to project onto him, so I can imagine myself with the squeaky duck.
But yeah, there was another hint that is very relevant to something that's gonna happen later. Flipping a turtle on his back is a central part of a certain puzzle later on that a lot of people would get stuck on, I imagine, if they didn't read that little piece of dialogue.
I mean, I think that's like standard video game fare, but this was probably during the, kind of during the period where that was still being established, I guess. 4 years after Link to the Past, though.
Yeah, like this game very much has a good approach of non-tutorial, but you only can do so many things, so just try everything.
Right.
And in my opinion, it pulls it off really well, especially unlike Link to the Past, where you mostly just focus on using the item that you just got for a dungeon. In this game, you just keep using everything.
Go ahead, sorry.
There are only maybe 2 items which are used in very, very specific contexts, and I feel they could have actually fused them into one, but I'm not gonna spoil what that exactly is.
Is it a hairdryer and a bass clarinet?
Those wouldn't be the weirdest things that we are gonna get, but no, they're not.
Wait, that's Fake Princess, yeah?
Yes.
So we just didn't tell them about Fake Princess?
It's like we can't talk. We can't tell them that it's the Fake Princess.
Technically, as far as I can tell, we don't have a mouth, so...
Yeah. So just I have no mouth, and I can't tell them that it's the Fake Princess. What is it? You said you'll do it? Here, have this key for the dungeon.
Go mop up the dungeon. Man, he's so agreeable.
But yeah, let's make some use out of the. No, can't use the bad.
Well.
Usually, you were I remember you were usually able to use this whenever, but it doesn't really matter. I don't really need to restore my health that much.
But that half of a flame that you don't have is going to be the difference. You're going to die, and you're going to be like, oh man, I was one hit away from defeating the super secret Kafka-inspired boss.
Nah, I'll live. I have 15 herbs. I'm going to get a few more.
They're good for you.
And here is the save system. Similarly to other Shining games, you just save at the churches.
And also Golden Sun. Wait, no, you revive it.
No, in Golden Sun you save anywhere.
You just revive things at the churches. That's what I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm. And here is what happens when you actually choose to leave the game.
A magical pixie.
and just
Aw.
has like a little nice ending thingy. I always thought it was really cute.
Well, it also makes you feel like, you know, a lot of times when you're playing a game and then you stop playing, you're like, oh man, where was I? What was I doing? You know. But then if you've got kind of a nice little send off like that, it helps ease the pain.